Yes, and a lot of like free things that I was like, someone needs a portrait done. I was like, cool, let's do it. 3 years later, maybe they have a big job now. Now there's someone big though. You never know in the beginning who might be there at the end to give you a big job. It's never about the now. It's what if maybe later though. For me, when like a new brand reaches out there, like I go and look at like the Instagram. I go and look at what they're trying to sell. I'm also looking at like the mood boards, what they give me though. If they don't have a lot of budget though, there's a lot of times where I was like, cool, we don't need to do it. If you just cover the gear or anything, that's fine. Or if it's something that's really cool and they don't have budget though, then I was like, cool, then I'll invest into it as well though, because I know something is gonna go. But then also, I want a bit of creative as well though. I use it in the editing world.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many tools that's integrated now into the programs that we have that we spend so much money on every month because we need to have it. But it also enables us to do things faster,
Yes.
to retouch skin faster as well. It's not going to be like perfect though, you still need to do a few things to it though. But it's a small tool that helps you, that can further your career, especially when you're a new young photographer though, and you don't know how to retouch so well though. Look, I'm not saying the Photoshop AI placement things are working as well. There still needs to be a bit of like a trial and error and like work on that situation. It will never be perfect though.
And you're live on Dead Radio.
Welcome to another very special episode of Dead Radio with your boy Ini. And once again, we have a very special guest in the building. We're gonna get into our guest's life journey, and you know how we do, extract those jewels for you guys to use in your everyday lives. So without further ado, yes sir.
Hi there, my name is Aart Verrips. I'm based in Johannesburg. I'm a visual artist and creative director in a sense. Yeah, that's me.
That's you. I love that.
Short and sweet.
Top of the year.
Top of the
How
year.
are you feeling? Not just about the year, but right now in this second.
I think I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling optimistic about this year.
I get you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bright year. It's the year of the horse. Everything is new again.
That's true.
Last year was a testing trial year. This year's
Shedding.
new.
It was a snake
Yes.
year. I feel you. I think the best place for us to begin to find out who Aart is today is to start Aart's book from page 1, right?
Yes.
So tell me about where Aart was born, where he grew up, just the early context of who you were as a young kid.
Okay. I was born in Sukunda, which is a small town. I don't really know where it is. I've never been back there as an adult. I think it's in like in Mpopo and Mpumalanga
Yeah, Mpumalanga.
somewhere. It's close-ish to here.
Shout out to Mpumalanga.
And then moved to just outside Pretoria onto a plot. So that was, I think, from about 3 years old. So then we had like all chicken, cows, like any animal, peacocks, anything you can think
You're a
of. We've had it there,
You're a farm kid.
Yeah,
basically.
I'm a farm kid there.
Dope.
And then like after a lot of bad things happened there, our house burned down and everything, and we were like
Shit,
it's a bad juju, let's just try and move somewhere else.
Fuck it now, bad
So then
juju.
we moved to Durban, close to Mazantoti on the south coast.
Okay.
Lived in Kingsborough, which is, I think, a great place to grow up as a kid. It's kind of sheltered, but like in a good way, kind of though. And then grew up there until grade 12, and then moved to Cape Town, started being a chef. Went to France, specialized in pastry chef, and then came back, worked as a chef, and then 2 years later decided it's not for me, and then moved to Joburg to try and change careers.
I get you.
That's where Rich Mnisi, back in the day he wasn't Rich Mnisi, he was
Of course.
Oath, but he was just graduating. So he messaged me and he was like working on his designer collection for the end of year for his like final collection situation.
I get you.
And he was like, have you ever done a fashion film? I was like, sure. Yes.
And at that point, you had never.
I've never shot like a human in front of my lens. I was just doing like landscapes.
Okay.
Because I met like a girl in Paris, and she was one of my best friends, and she was like an avid photographer, and she kind of inspired me to buy like an entry-level DSLR, and then from there, kind of like just developed
Okay. I think I want to rewind the story a bit and tap into deciding to go and be a chef, more specifically a pastry chef, right?
Yes.
Like, how does that happen? Like, is anyone in your family a chef? Were you guys big on pastries? Why
Not
that?
really. I think
career?
Afrikaans family, you're like, my Oma and I was always like, both of them. We were always like bakers in the kitchen, and I was always baking there.
Of course.
So as a young kid, I was always in the kitchen by my mother and my grandmother, and just kind of like helping them out, washing dishes or trying to bake with them. And then from there, it became kind of like a love. And then I think it was like the uprising of BBC Food, all of these food channels that also glamorized it as well and made it look really fun. And then MasterChef came along, and you were like, okay, cool, really wanted to like be part of this kind of world. And like Gordon Ramsay.
Yes.
So you have like, and Nigella was also like a big influence though. Like she was like one of the OGs though. Yeah?
In the space.
So yeah, for me, I really wanted to do that. And then when I got into the industry and I got a really nice gig. I worked for a law firm, so that I had like a canteen or a restaurant in Cape Town. It was on the top floor, so we had like amazing views like, of Cape Town, like 360 panoramic views. So it was amazing though, but the environment and like how people treat you wasn't really the pressure, it was like how people treated you in a sense though. It was like not as a human though. And because you also see everyone every day there, so they take your frustration out on each other though. Because you're like there for such a long time, you become like a family though, but like a family that loves and hates each other at the same time.
Completely. I worked in hospitality, so I know how head chefs speak to everyone. And I've always wondered, why the fuck do you guys talk to people like that? Like, I get it, it's a high pressure job, like especially if you work in like a restaurant or a hotel where the food needs to be delivered right now, but like, fuck, relax, bro.
I just think it's like a hierarchy thing is also something that's also been coming from years. That's like a bad kind of habit that everyone just kind of takes over though because they've been dealt badly though. So their boss was like that though. And the same as it kind of goes into our industry as well though. There's some photographers that's really like shit and cancer. And they don't treat their assistants right or the people around them right. They act like a superstar, but also like we can also just act like we're all here for the same goal. Goal is to make a beautiful image though. You shouldn't have like a hero complex or anything like that on set though, because we all work as one together for like a beautiful goal at the end though.
I get you.
And you're live on Dead Radio. And you're live on Dead Radio.
Okay, so now you're in this toxic work environment, which you studied for, right? How do you, and I think you spoke a bit about your friend giving you the camera, right? What are some of those first things you start shooting? Like, why did she even give you a camera?
So how does that give me a camera? I bought my camera though.
Okay.
But she was a big influence of me going and buying a camera. Before that, I was just like had a point and shoot though. But with that as well, like I lived in Cape Town as a chef, so on my off days, I'll just like travel and go and shoot landscapes. I mean, like it's hard not to shoot a beautiful landscape of Cape Town. Though.
That's true. That's true.
So that was the kind of entry level, and then I did like a small mini course of like a night, like I think it was like 6 weeks, and it was once a week. We had like a night course at Cape Town School of Photography, because I was working as a chef, so I didn't have night time to kind of like go and like learn. So they kind of taught us like the basic, like what a triangle of the photography is, what the f-stop, and like all of the kind of
Technical skills.
I like have and like think of to shoot and like to create a beautiful image, just to kind of balance the light and like it's not overexposed or whatnot. Though.
I get that. So you're learning this new thing. The toxic work environment is crushing your brain, and then eventually you make the decision, fuck it, I'm leaving this.
Yes.
Talk to me about that period mentally, what was going on, and how do you even get the balls to quit your job? Because a lot of people, that's the thing that stops them. They're like, I'm not gonna do that.
It is a hard one though. I mean, I think I was lucky though because I had the support of my family, so I also chose a space to move into that I don't need to pay any rent for, or like my monthlies are kind of quite low though, so you can kind of figure out what you want to do though.
Okay.
So I moved into a house where my parents, it was my grandparents' house that my dad owns though.
Okay.
So like no one was living there, so I just went and lived there.
I lived there,
Because
okay.
I also, like my parents lived in Durban back then though, so I don't want to go back to Durban. Also live in my parents' house again after being out of your parents for 4 years.
I get you. Yeah, you can't just go back and have rules, right?
No, like, look, where are you going? I'm just going to go and see a friend or go and buy something. Like,
Exactly.
like they don't need to know. Right?
I get that. So you move back here, Joburg, right? Talk to me about how do you even like start building a name for yourself, like even just in the space. You spoke about meeting Rich. How does that happen?
I think it was just like a perfect storm, to be fair.
Okay.
I think when I moved here, I was a lot more open, and I went to all of the events if I like got invited to events, but it was also just meeting the right people in a short amount of time. Also, it helps to be gay in the gay community. People help each other a lot easier than there's a lot of people.
That's interesting.
Like in that space.
I never thought about it like that, but yet that community, you guys help each other out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, there's a lot of them in fashion though, so it's a bit easier navigating the world. Also, like back then, I didn't know this world existed though. So that's where I have Rich to thank for that though, because like he opened this space and this space up for me and this world up for me though. So if I don't have him, and there was a hair and makeup artist called Renton Wade, and he introduced me. There was this one day that when Al and Mary Claire and all those beautiful magazines were still alive. It was like, I lived here for like a month or something though, and he called me and was like, just come and shoot like some BTS. Like, there's a lot of things I did for free back in the day though, because like you need to do a lot of free things to build a portfolio though. My parents never really quite got that though, because they was like, why are you working for free? You need to earn money for your work. And I was like, they don't understand that your work is your CV. You don't have a CV. You can go to the best school and still be a chef photographer though, or a chef creative director or whatever though.
That's true.
You still need to have like that element or of like talent that's natural gifted to you, or learn it. There's two ways of doing it.
I get you. Yeah, theory and practical. Right? Worlds apart.
Very worlds apart.
Literally. Damn. Okay, so Rich then asks you to shoot a fashion film.
Yes.
Talk to me about that process. What did you guys shoot? How do you even deal with doing something you've never done before and just saying, yes, I can do that? Like, do you go on YouTube and like start YouTubing, like how to do this shit?
Just fake it till you make it. I mean, back then we didn't have Instagram as we know it now. That's about like 12 years ago. It's like 2014. I mean, the world was very different though. So yeah, it was YouTube though. But it's also just a lot of faking till you make it though. Like that was my end thing there. And like from one thing led to another. Then I went from going into like the Mary Claire where they were shooting, Paul Samuels was shooting, like all the editors photo, press photos for the magazine though.
Okay.
And then that's how I got introduced to like the editorial world as well though, into Mary Clay and into Elle though. And like that was amazing though, because it was like the secret world that you just like kind of bumped into.
Yes.
But if it wasn't for those kind of people though, that allowed me into the spaces that I would never be as well where I am, but as well as this hustle. Like a lot of hustling.
Of course.
Yeah.
And shaking people's hands.
Yes, and a lot of like free things that I was like, someone needs a portrait done. I was like, cool, let's do it. 3 years later, maybe they have a big job now, and now there's someone big. But you never know in the beginning who might be there at the end to give you a big job. It's never about the now, it's what if maybe later. And it's kind of paying it forward though, in a sense though.
Yes. Damn, yeah, because if you hadn't met Rich, you would probably still be shooting like landscapes or buildings or whatever.
I mean, my dad wanted me to go into this drone world with him though. And probably like he was very ahead of his game, and like looking back now, if we did it, we would have been a big success, but also I would have never been into this world that I am now. I would rather be my own artist as well though, and like create a name for myself and a legacy in that name, because I'm not gonna have kids though. So my legacy is the work though, yes.
Makes sense. I'm always interested in how people figure out their fingerprint, their creative fingerprint, right? And I think anyone who looks at your work will be like, oh shit, this is a distinct style. But developing a style takes a while, right? Usually when people start a craft, they emulate their favorite photographer or whatever, right? How did you eventually crystallize your voice or your style? How does that happen?
I think it's one of the hardest things to do. And especially every year it becomes harder and harder though, because there's so many incredible photographers out there, and you don't want to just copy your art right there. You want to take like inspiration from it and make it your own. I think that's where I was lucky though, because there's only 2 really big photographers that I assisted for a very long time now.
Okay.
That had a big influence on me, and the one was very much in the beauty world and did like incredible beauty work there. He now lives in London, and he signed with an incredible agency in Milan, and like he does incredible things. And my other person that I assisted was Christine Moorman for like a few years, and she has a big influence on the fashion world and like storytelling, how I do storytelling, and like how my composition wise as well. So I think if it wasn't for those 2 influences as well, and then obviously looking at whoever your favorite photographer is, but also working with Rich, working with Tebe, I think that's also where I was very lucky that it was all of them that graduated at the same time, and like we all became very close friends, and we just collabed all the time though. And then with those collaborations also, our visual language kind of grew together, and then with that, my visual language kind of started. And then I think in lockdown, it was the biggest kind of like I'm like, okay, cool, what do I need to do? Like, where do I need to see myself? Like, what do I need to do to get my work into the place that I really want to?
I get you.
And I think when I had that mentality shift there, I really went for it, and I created like a little group with Chloe Andrea and Francia Fadada. Okay. And we created like the most insane things, and we got the most insane jobs and just like projects offers though, which is that we could have never dreamt of though. And looking back now, it was like the best decision that I made, and like kind of worked for the last 5 years. It was a lot of hard work. There's a lot of like sometimes being at the studio and setting up for like hours, and like painting the backdrops yourself as well though, that no one really knows about.
Getting your hands dirty.
Yeah, and like it was like we don't have the resources we like in Europe has us, so like we need to do everything ourselves here.
Yes.
So like we also looked in a kind of art director point of view as like what's missing, and like what the Europeans are doing, but let's make it also our kind of version of like South African and African as well.
Yes, I get that. I completely get that. What's the process, right? Because you've spoken about the process of finding your fingerprint, right, creatively. How do you get better at taking pictures? Just the craft of
Shoot all the time.
Shoot all the time.
I had a kind of studio set up in my apartment.
Okay.
That I lived in for 5 years in Parktown North. And anyone that lived around me or that was friends with me, you know, we were shooting probably like 3 to 5 times a week in the studio. And I think with that, it was like the best kind of like experimental kind of vibes as well, though, where we could experiment with like fashion, lighting, models, or like kind of setups that you want to do. And
I get you.
To try and be out there as well, though, but also on a budget, though. So with that, yes, there was an initial kind of like, I think back in the day, it cost me like luckily only 50 or 60,000 rand to set up a small little studio, though. But it was like it was 3 backdrops and a backdrop system. And 2 like entry-level studio lights. So it's just what you really needed. But I saved up from all the other shoots that I did though. And then eventually I got enough money to do that. And that was the best decision that I made though. So for any like young photographers, I always say it's like, just kind of shoot as much as you can, even if you don't need like expensive things. You just need a piece of fabric or just like a wall. Go and shoot whatever you want to shoot, or just go in a situation as well. If you want to do not a studio, but if you want to go on location, though.
Do you think in photography, taste / your eye, right? Is that more important than technical skills? Are people who have more taste better photographers than people who know all the technicalities of a camera? Or
So it's a hard one to say, but I would lean more into saying that if you can train your taste, but if you have good taste,
can you learn taste?
You can learn taste.
Okay.
If you go and expose yourself to like South Africa's taste levels are getting better and better because we never had like a Zara or like all these expensive, really premium brands that chic and everything. That we only had like other stores that I'm not going to mention.
Let's not do that. Yeah.
But like we just never had this premium stuff. So as South Africa, we are now finally learning our styles. So like younger and younger kids are coming up now, and like there's some really cool photographers coming out there now. But before that, we didn't have anything. So if you want to train your taste, you need to go and look at magazines. Like all the fashion magazines of Vogue and other ID days. And that's what I did when I was young as well though. Like I collected all the magazines when I went overseas. I'll bring back like heaps of magazines that it's like a small suitcase just for magazines. Because also we only used to get like another magazine or 10 men, but only for a certain time, and then that all disappeared.
That's so true.
So kids never have that anymore as well to train their brain.
Yes, because now magazines have become Instagram.
Yeah. And also like with Instagram, it's great, yes, though, but it's something different to actually feel it and like for your sensories to feel the paper, to actually look at it in person than just a screen. Also a screen is the smaller where magazine is a lot bigger, or you always had like this kind of like a bit bigger magazine. Like I think it's like an A3.
Yes.
Those are always beautiful. A medium format is always amazing to look at.
Those are collector's editions, right? I hear that.
And you're live on Dead Radio. And you're live on Dead Radio.
You spoke about Instagram and 2026. If like you're a creative person and you're not on Instagram, it's like you're losing out, right? Because that also becomes your CV. But I also feel like Instagram is watering down taste, right? Because of the algorithm. Now, all of us, there's how many? 3, 4, 5 people in here. We're most likely, if we all open our Instagram, we're most likely going to scroll past similar things. Our algorithms obviously are fine-tuned to who you are, but there are things that overlap.
Yeah.
which waters down the taste. How do you not get your taste watered down with all the noise and everyone is a creative director and we're all, if we all love black, then we're all wearing black. Like, how do you stay away from that thing?
Look, I think we always need to follow the right kind of people on there, though. So I think that's the big way to start with, though, like following the right people, and then your algorithm will become better with that as well, though. I luckily have 2 Instagrams, though. So there's one for work and one for my influencer, personal situation, though. Because I never really want to overlap the two, though. I want my work to stay. I like my work and be proud of my work. I don't want my face attached to my work, though. I know it is, though.
Interesting.
But I don't want to do it.
I get you. It's separate.
Yes.
Like, you want the work to be the work.
Yes.
And it speaks for art.
Yes.
Interesting. Even in an era of superstar photographers, if I can do that, like famous photographers, like people who are like, yo, like we just had JR Echo before you. Like, so I always wonder about people like you who your face isn't the thing, it's the work.
Look, maybe that's the introvert in me as well.
I get you.
And for me, like, I always wanted to separate. There's other people, like, one of my best friends is Michael Oliver Love, and like he does it so well of like doing the two together though. But that's his style. My style is very different though. Like, I like to keep the two very separate, and like fashion just stays fashion though.
I get you.
Weirdly enough, if my face is there, like it gets more likes though, but I would rather just get like
the work.
And then my own personal style is my own page though, but also I hardly post on there as well. I don't need to post more on there though.
I think in the beginning of our conversation, you spoke a little bit about ego. And as you're explaining you separating the artist from the art, does that help to control your ego? Like keep it in check? Like, because ego is such a big thing in the creative world, right? It's like, I shot for ID Magazine or Time Magazine. That inflates your ego. So does separating the artist and the art, like, keep your ego in check? How do you keep your ego in check?
I think the reason why I've kept it in check, and I'm also like kind of have a imposter syndrome though. So that's also maybe why my ego is also always injected, because it always feels that like, why am I here though? And like sometimes I look at my work, then I was like, okay, it's amazing though. But if I don't look at my work and like see how I curated in a sense, that I'm like, oh, it's like you're such a shit photographer.
I get you.
So I think it's that kind of like voice in my head that will always keep me grounded. And also like I've seen so many people go from nothing to being a hero, and then them or like kind of like getting this big ego. And not maybe crashing though, but I'm like, it's just never what I wanted though. So I would rather close my circle more though, and people think I'm unpretentious though, than having an ego or like, I don't know.
I get you.
Also, like, I'm a very private person though, so then I would just be like, okay, I'm just gonna keep to my corner,
I get you, and do my work.
Yes, I'm more just keep to my corner, do my work, and then that's also why I think I have the two Instagrams to keep it separate. I do my work and I do me, but also separate. Doesn't really need to.
I get you. Mix.
Yeah.
Because the ego will make you crash.
Yes, it will.
I've seen it time and time again. And then talk to me about, because you're one of the photographers who has representation management, right? If I could call it that. But I'm assuming there was a time you weren't being represented and you were a freelancer, right? Talk to me about both sides. Like, would you advise an up-and-coming photographer to get representation? Like, does that help you get gigs better, get your name out there better? Just talk to me about both sides.
I think there's such a positive way of having someone to rep you there, because it's someone that's there, that's hopefully in your corner all the time though. They're there to also fight for the good fight for you and for your rights as well, and not to undercut you though. That's why I have the best agent in South Africa, and I love her to bits though, and she's always in my corner. And I can ask anything as well though, but I'm like, with any job that comes in, she'll fight for like a really good rate for me. And like, if it's a World War campaign, she was like, Art, we need to go in this high though. Like also just kind of like the person that's there to kind of support you in anything. If something goes wrong, she's there to like, hey, cool, how can we sort it out? She's maybe hopefully seen this before, done this before, because on set something happens though. I now like a memory card got lost, some shot got lost. Now like, who's at fault here? Like none of that has happened to me though. But I've heard traumatic stories though from friends and people in the industry though. So I think obviously they take a big percentage, but it's also they also to look after you, and like you're paying your taxes now and you're paying your pay. They're not going to come after you. They're also now with AI, they see all of your taxes though. They see everything. If you can't hide anything anymore.
You're not hiding shit. You're fucked. You're not hiding shit.
So I think that aspect, I would say like really get one though. They'll fight for you. They'll know what your rights are. They'll know if someone's trying to do you in and what you need to be paid properly for as well. Sometimes my agents still curse me for, sometimes I still do free jobs for certain people, but it's just a certain handful of people. And I was like, they're still OGs and we'll still do it. And later if there's budget, then we pay it forward. But there's certain people we do it for, and then she curses me out though. But I know I don't do it for everyone though.
I feel you.
People,
yes, of course.
Which I'll go beyond my ways to go and do things for. But yeah, like
okay. It's better.
There's also just more opportunity sometimes though with an agent. She has more connections maybe with production houses. She'll get more briefs in that you necessarily wouldn't get at all. And if I get any briefs in or anything, or someone contacts me, editors, anything, the first thing I do, I just forward it to her. She reaches out and she's like, hey, cool, and she calls them. So for me, being anxious and like,
you don't want to deal with all that.
Also like amounts and like money wise, trying to think about numbers then, and sometimes just reaching something out in the air. I was like, is it too much? Just throw it in there. And I was like, are they gonna say yes or no? I don't know. And then they try to like lowball you as well. And then I was like,
of course.
And then afterwards they were like, can we have all the raws, but this, and then this, and then. I don't know, like it's just a bit easier if you have someone in the corner though.
Because they're a filter between like you and the clients.
Yeah.
I get that. How do you go about picking fashion brands to shoot for? Like, do you have to, is it just about the money? Do you need to have an emotional connection with the brand? Like, because obviously there's gonna be people who own brands and they're like, bro, I would kill for Art to shoot a collection or whatever, or a film for me. Like, how do you go about picking the brands that you work with?
For me, when like a new brand reaches out there, like I go and look at like the Instagram, I go and look at what they're trying to sell.
Okay.
I'm also looking at like the mood boards, what they give me though. If they don't have a lot of budget though, there's a lot of times where I was like, cool, we don't need to do it. If you just cover the gear or anything, that's fine. Or if it's something that's really cool and they don't have budget though, then I was like, cool, then I'll invest into it as well though, because I know something is gonna go. But then also, I want a bit of creative as well though.
Okay.
Because then you're also coming for the art experience though, so I wanna, if I see something, we are gonna kind of like brainstorm it, and I was like, cool, I'm always gonna think, I was like, love this idea, but how can I make it more amazing or top it even more, or like just add a bit of a twist to it though. That's always the fun part for me when a creative director or brand or anything comes to me and I was like, oh cool, like how do you see it though? And that's always the fun part though.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of brands are gonna be like, do I DM him? Do I hit up there?
Just DM me when you have a really amazing idea.
Yeah, if you have
otherwise, I mean, you can DM me. I'm maybe not gonna reply.
I hear that.
It just depends how good your DM and your pictures. I don't know.
I hear that. Okay, I think we have to touch on the elephant in the room, the elephant in most rooms, right? The big bad AI,
Yes.
right? A lot of creative people are either for it, some are against it. They're like, oh, this is gonna destroy creativity and blah, blah, blah. All that purist shit. What's your perspective on AI, where it's going? You, especially being a photographer, and how people right now can go in ChatGPT and hit a prompt. Give me an image that looks like this.
No,
What's your perspective?
I think it's insane, and like how far AI has come in the last like in the last 2 years alone, or a year alone.
Of course.
I think in more like recent times, we've seen as well that people are also kind of going against AI, and going against it for a reason, because if we just lose all of our skills, we're never gonna get them back though. Like I said earlier, like Disney's going back on hand drawing animation though, and I'm like, it's a good thing though, because if you lose hand drawing animation though, in 12 years or 20 years or 30 years, if AI has still been doing it, the kids won't be able to do it anymore though. They wouldn't know how to do it. So then it becomes a problem as well. And also, if something really bad happens though, and as an asteroid it comes and it knocks out all of the electricity and everything that's electric though, then what though? Then humanity is dumb again, and we don't know how to start up from scratch again. No.
That's true.
Or 50 years or anything like that.
I get you.
Maybe not 30 years, but 50
I
years
get
or
you.
60 years or 100 years though.
If society collapses, will we still be able to do things? That's your main concern.
But in that saying, I think AI has been amazing at certain things as well. In the medication realm though, especially the medical.
Yes.
Like there's been so many breakthroughs for HIV, for cancer,
Yes.
for Alzheimer's.
Yes.
All these things that we've been trying to like cure for years, for so long. That I think the pharmaceutical companies can't be that happy about everything.
Of course not. Big pharma. No.
But that's the one thing we just need to get over though. But I'm like, it's such a good thing and positive thing, I think, as well.
I get you.
And in our world, I mean, it depends how you use it though.
Do you use it personally?
I use it in the editing world.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many tools that's integrated now into the programs that we have that we spend so much money on every month because we need to have it. But it also enables us to do things faster.
Yes.
To retouch skin faster as well. It's not going to be like perfect though. You still need to do a few things to it though. But it's a small tool that helps you, that can further your career, especially when you're a new young photographer though, and you don't know how to retouch so well though. Look, I'm not saying the Photoshop AI placement things are working as well. There still needs to be a bit of like a trial and error and like work on that situation. It will never be perfect though.
It's getting better.
But I think it is good, but also some brands will use it that doesn't have money though, and unfortunately they need to use it, and other brands, the big brands, will still use humans there, because now they're adding another element of backstage, behind the scenes, of the making of it though, because everyone wants to see the process, and the process is where everything is going. It's not about the end product and how it looks though, it's about how it was from A to B, how it was created though.
I get you. It's such a controversial topic amongst creative people. But for like someone like you, like literally in the early 1900s, when the first camera was created, the people who used to paint portraits for people were like, oh shit, the camera's gonna be the death of creativity and people aren't gonna know, blah, blah, blah. This always happens with new technologies. And unfortunately or fortunately, AI is not going anywhere. It's getting better. I remember the first time, I don't know if you remember this, maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago, when the Will Smith video came out where he was eating spaghetti and it looked like shit. Fast forward 3 years later, it's like, oh shit, we are in trouble. But it depends. I just think we need to embrace it. Fighting against it is not gonna work out. Like, there's a kid right now who's born in the AI era who's gonna learn, who's gonna go on YouTube and learn, okay, how do I pick up a camera and all the technical things, and then mix that with AI, and then they're just going to shoot to the moon.
But here's the thing, right? AI has already kind of consumed itself, the learning capability. It's other things to learn from the.
Yes.
So that's the one thing AI still needs. It needs like actual
human
touch, human intelligence
Yes.
to actually grow as well. As much as it can grow by itself, it can only grow so much by itself and grow so much ahead. From like a visual point of view.
I get you.
Not from like a medical point of view.
Yes.
That's for in the future though, I feel. I don't know, like...
It's tricky.
It's tricky though, like I think it's very, like AI is very different to just the camera and like comparing the camera. And I know that, like everyone is comparing like the camera, and then it's also when the internet came with movies. But it's such a different aspect though, because it's not a human element in it. There's no human in it though.
That's interesting, because people who lived in the analog era and shot on film would say that about the digital era. They'll be like, dude, I needed to build a dark room to develop these pictures. You just fucking shoot them on your memory card.
There was still a person with a finger that needed to shoot it, with the eye that needed to visualize it. That's the biggest difference between the new kind of like modern society that we're going into now, and like the new industrial revolution in the sense though, but the AI revolution though. I don't think it's going to be a revolution like the internet revolution.
Yes.
It will be a revolution. Also, like so many things need to be like cut off. Look at Grog now. Grog is pushing out like all the most hectic porn
that's true.
That is done by AI. That's true. So somewhere along the line, I don't know, when we stop looking at all whatever like America is doing now. We need to start looking at what AI is doing there, and we need to put regulations on the AI, because also it's not okay.
We need to.
There's so many things that we need to stop with it before it takes over.
That's true.
And I think that we are very close to the red line. We can't come back, but we're not there yet.
My theory is that we've already crossed.
I don't think we're there yet.
I believe
we've crossed there when there's robots walking amongst us. There's cyborgs, and it's apparently supposed to happen this year, but
I'm excited.
If it's actually gonna happen on a like full scale, if we ever gonna see like 10 robots walking around us though, like iRobot back in the day though.
They're coming.
They're coming, but I'm like, it'll first be for ultra rich and ultra wealthy.
Of course.
So it will only come, like a robot is going to be $10,000 or some around, or $20,000 though. So that's like 400,000, 600,000 rand. I mean, you must first buy a house though, I feel.
That's true. But remember how how expensive those big ass cell phones were until the Nokia 3310, until we got smartphones. That's how technology.
I mean, where we are now though. We're back to where we were.
I get you. It's either way.
I just don't think there's a lot more risks though with
AI.
With AI and robots though. I think we'll start I think the rollout will happen, and in a year's time it takes one incident. Look at all those scooters in Europe though. It was everywhere.
Yes.
Now there's nowhere. Even Cape Town had it for one season though. It took them away though, because also like you need one incident, and there will be one incident.
I hear you. We'll see. I'm excited. Use AI. That's all I'm saying. Use AI. As someone who's a visual artist in South Africa, what's your perspective of your peers, the work they're doing, just the visual language, telling the different stories in South Africa? Are you inspired?
I think it's amazing what everyone's doing.
Where do you sit?
I think it's amazing what everyone's doing. I think it's amazing to see the visual language come coming to life through so many different like lenses and people's eyes. There's a really beautiful exhibition coming up there in March that's opening up.
Dope.
I don't think there's any news about it yet though. But it will be at the Roger Ballon exhibition hall situation. And there's 26 photographers and it's all about South African fashion. And so it's going to be really amazing.
Okay.
Like some really cool OG photographers that's coming out as well and showcasing their work.
Dope.
That you didn't even know that's like South African and it's been shooting for Vogue for so long. So I think it's going to be really cool to see it. There's a lot happening around it as well. There's workshops around it. There's some live DJ sets with Tebe, I think. Rich is part of it as well.
Okay, sick.
So it's going to be a really fun thing. So I think this is going to be a celebration of the visual language that's been created in the last 20, 30 years. Though,
I love that.
Which is amazing because like we're still kind of like as a baby fresh though. Like
Very
we're not
young.
as Europe though. Like Europe had like how many hundreds of years to kind of figure out their visual language though, where we are just starting out though. So it's amazing to be part of that as well though, and to see everyone do like all the most amazing things.
I get that. Very interesting journey to get to where you are. Do you ever, because I have this thing about the names that our parents give us and the destiny that it creates for you. Is it a coincidence that you're called Art and you make art? Do you think so?
Unfortunately, it is. I want to say no, but it is. It's a family name, so
Okay,
I'm the fourth generation with the name.
Okay.
At least my dad also only has one name. My grandfather, my great grandfather has like multiple names. So.
Okay.
So I'm just grateful. My mom was like, "You have a weird name and surname already, though.
Yeah.
Let's just
keep
to
it
that,
there."
though."
I get that.
But yeah. So luckily now it kind of falls into place and I
it
create
falls
art there.
perfectly into place, right? You were born at the right time. Now, as we wind down the conversation, right, I want to get into some very practical advice. Let's say Art was 18 years old in 2026 and someone gives him a Canon camera and is like, build a career. What are the steps you would take? You don't know Rich, you don't know Tebe, you don't have management, no following, no connections. What do you do?
I'll first go and research photographers and see what you like. But it's also hard though because at that point you don't know anything about this industry though.
Yes.
The world's your oyster though. Luckily, like I was young, I always watched like Project Runway and everything though. So I always had like a sense of fashion though. But kids today, I would just be like, go and shoot a lot though, but also reach out to photographers. Go and say, not assist, but go and shadow or just see a day or like go and assist, but assist for free for the first day though, because also, what do you know? You can't also be charging money if you learn.
Who are you? What have you done? You don't know shit.
Like there was once, unfortunately, like I tried this one guy and he was just looking at me while I was setting up the most basic, like a C-stand.
I get you.
And I was like, I get it, my guy. I know you need to learn though. But if you don't know the basics of how to setting a C-stand or anything up, go to the gear house though. Go to your Sunshine. Go and look up or Glow Higher. Go and ask them like, hey, can I come and shadow you guys for like 2 days? You teach me all about the gear that you guys have. What isn't being used, and then from there you contact a photographer or you contact, say, a lamppost, a production house, and it's like, hey, I'm a new photographer, I'm keen to learn, put me on a second assistant situation so the first assistant can show you as well the way your rate's not going to be nice at the beginning though.
Of course.
But, you know, like, when I was young, I worked for 200, 300, 400 rand back in the day though. Now all the kids are expecting thousands though.
It doesn't work like that. It doesn't
And I was
work
like, you need to work your way up though, unfortunately though. And whenever there's budget, we'll give you budget though. But if you don't know anything, your best thing is to go and just assist her. And that's where I got a lot of my knowledge as well from
assisting.
And don't always try and bother the photographer when you assist, especially when you're a second assistant. The problem is like people don't understand like mentally what goes on a photographer's head. When you get to set, there's so much money on the line. There's like people have been like organizing it maybe for weeks, for days, or months, or years sometimes though. And there's so much pressure on you though, so you need to think about everything else and not go and bother the photographer, but where to put the C-stand or anything like that.
Set etiquette.
Go and ask the other assistant. That is more a kind of like experience in that kind of sense.
I get you. And then one last question quickly, right? How should an up-and-coming photographer know when to stop doing free gigs or when to take their first fee, that 500 Rand, that 400 Rand?
Yes.
When do you know when to bump it to 1,000 Rand, 2,000 Rand?
I think...
How do you know?
I think you kind of will know at one point though, but also sometimes just try. Also, like, don't try out your first go though. Also have something to back it up and have some concrete like portfolio work though. But from there I was like, cool. Bump it up and was like, cool, do 500 Rand or do 1,000 and then to 5,000 and then 10,000. I mean, I'm working more in euros now, and then like sometimes I bump my thing up and then I tell my agent, I was like, and then a client has accepted it, and it's like, she's like, oh my gosh, okay, I did not know you can go this high.
Now this is...
It's always like pushing it slightly though, and like the worst they can say is like, oh, sorry, we're going into a new direction, or sorry, it's too expensive. And it's like, but you know, like if you can give us your budget though, let's see what we can work out though. There's always a way of working things out. If it's not a 3-day shoot, let's make it a 1-day shoot.
I get that.
If it's possible, you know, like let's try and be smart about it. Also, you don't need a million shots though.
Yes.
So I think it's also being transparent with the clients as well though, from the get-go. But also fake it till you make it in that sense as well, and like up the price sometimes and try and not overthink it and just be like, cool. If someone really thinks that you're worth it, they'll take it though.
And they'll pay.
But also that's why you need to have a portfolio to back it up though. Because someone's not going to pay $5,000 though for someone that just started out that has 2 shots on his page or his website or something. Just make sure you have a website that looks professional, a good email address. It's hopefully not Gmail. It's so cheap and easy to kind of change it these days. Don't do a Gmail.
And even a hack, Gmail offers the option to change it from a Gmail. It's fucking cheap.
So like rather do that. Like I have a Gmail account as well, but it's not Gmail. It's info at Aart Verrips.
Yes.
And I just small change it and make sure it looks more professional. And client goes, I'm like, oh, okay.
I can trust
him. I can pay him like 1,000 Rand more than I'm gonna pay this guy because he's not like his email is looking shitty though, or X, Y, and Z. It's all about how you present yourself. Also, like how you dress as well on set though. Don't come with your broken ass shoes,
pajamas.
Also, put your pants up there. No one wants to see your boxes.
I feel you.
So just like be aware of the spaces you're in as well and be professional. If you're that though, you can always bump up your price though. Always be on time though, and always be before. Or like, what do they say? If you're on time, you're already late though. So if you're there early, you're on time though.
You're on time. I love that. Art, thank you so much. This was dope. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back with another episode of Dead Radio from your boy Ini.
And you're live on Dead Radio.